Hello, welcome to natemareflix. I am Nate. You are you. And 2021 was all right when it came to the horror genre. I don't think it really gave us a lot of bona fide new horror classics, but there was some solid fare in there. I'd give the year like a B- on the whole. That being said, I think 2022 is going to blow it out of the water. I think we're going to get some really fun, amazing films in 2022, and I'm really excited. I'm really anticipating a lot of different horror movies, and I can't wait to see all of them and talk about them with you fine folks. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit subscribe if you feel the same way about the horror genre, because we got a lot of passion for it here at natemareflix. And that's why today we're going to go ahead and look at 2022. I'm going to tell you 10 movies that you should be stoked about. We're going to break down why I'm anticipating these movies so much. So here you go. This is my list. These are my 10 most anticipated horror films of 2022. Number 10 is Terra Fire 2, and the first Terra Fire movie proved very divisive for horror fans. Some people absolutely loved it and found it to be kind of a throwback to 80s slashers, and that they had a new icon in Art the Clown, who's played expertly by David Howard Thornton. Such amazing physical acting as Art the Clown, and Art the Clown has a character design that just pops on the screen and is instantly memorable. But for all that good, there is some bad taste in the first Terrifier film. A lot of people found it to be way too extreme and just way too gratuitous. I mean, at one moment, he actually has a woman bound upside down, completely naked. You see everything, and you watch him hack through her body with a saw to every last little gnarly bit until her body just swings apart. And they show it all. And so a lot of people found that to be just going extremely too far. And I gotta tell you, this movie didn't really sit well with me at first, but I couldn't stop thinking about it and thinking about certain moments in the film to where I wanted to start showing other people the movie to get their take on things. And one of those people was my teenage cousin, who's still kind of getting initiated into the horror genre. And man, did it make a big impact on her, because now this is a movie she shows to friends at sleepovers when they're like, hey, do you know any cool scary movies? Do you know any movies that are like really extreme and gory and like gnarly and way too intense? Can you do something to shock me? And she goes, I got something for you. We're watching Terrifier tonight. And she always comes and reports back to me about how all these different friends handle Terrifier. So that being said, I can't wait to see what's going to happen with Terrifier 2. Just how far they're going to go. How will they push the envelope? Will this movie be able to settle the debate on if Art the Clown is a new horror icon? I can't wait to check this movie out. Number 9 is the Toxic Avenger remake. I cannot believe they are remaking the Toxic Avenger. I love that movie, but I never thought a remake would happen. For those of you who don't know about the Toxic Avenger, it is a silly, campy, out there movie that came compliments of Troma Studios. And if you don't know about Troma, well, I just don't know how a Troma film is going to come across in this current climate, because Troma was pretty much all about just going out there, bad taste, be damned. Anything was fair game. Nobody was above offending. And they would just get out there and get as nasty and mean-spirited and gratuitous as possible. Absolute schlock value entertainment in the best way. Toxic Avenger is extremely rewatchable, but like I'm saying, you look around at the current climate and the way people get offended by everything. How on earth are they doing this movie and using bona fide stars like Peter Dinklage? That's who's going to portray Toxie. I can't wait to see Peter Dinklage as Toxie, the Toxic Avenger. I just really can't get across enough how I don't understand how this is going to work. Because right now, movies from studios like A24 seem to be the flavor. And A24 is kind of like a gourmet meal. And then Troma productions are more like eating freezer-burnt jalapeno poppers while watching two fat girls mud wrestle. Do I need to say more about why I'm eager to see what this movie's going to be? Number 8 is Insidious, The Dark Realm. I'm actually a huge fan of the Insidious franchise. I think they're all pretty damn solid. And I can't wait to see what they're going to do with this 5th film. And it really excites me to know that Patrick Wilson won't just be starring in the movie. He's actually going to take over the directing. And I can't wait to see what he's going to do at the helm. See what sort of visuals he can pull off and what he's going to do with the camera. I feel like you got to get kind of inventive when you do an Insidious movie, because they are just so bombastic and you're going into the further. And you have to come up with some sort of new, exciting thing that hasn't yet been explored with each one of these movies. So I can't wait to see what he engineers for us. I also can't wait to see what sort of big bad emerges. I think Insidious looks Loki has some of the best villains in the last 15, 20 years. They're always original, always inventive, and they do something different than all these other supernatural movies where you just get a bland, generic ghost. All these things have such character about them, such personality, and they're so striking and memorable for that reason. And will we finally get more from that Darth Maul demon, from the old lipstick demon, all red face? You know what I'm talking about. They always tease him at the end of the Insidious films, but we've never quite tapped into it fully. So, at long last, let's see what's going on with the red face demon. Let's get some proper resolution. Number 7 is The Northman, a movie I haven't heard a lot of people talk about, but this is going to be the third film from Robert Eggers, and quite frankly, that is enough for me. I can't wait to see what his third film will be after The Witch and The Lighthouse. This movie has an amazing cast. It has Alexander Skarsgård, it has Willem Dafoe, it has Ethan Hawke, it has Nicole Kidman, amongst others, and it's going to focus on Alexander Skarsgård's character, who is a Viking prince. And we know how good Robert Eggers does with these period pieces and how immersive he can make that world and what he can do with atmosphere. And the fact that we're going to explore a tale about a Viking, maybe we're going to get some really intense gore. Maybe we're going to get some onslaught, some battles, some insane conflicts that we haven't yet seen in a Robert Eggers film. At the end of The Witch, he really does go for it and becomes a bloody mess, and there's all sorts of spectacle. We know that he can dare you to live deliciously with his movies, and this conceit has just got me really intrigued. And then you look at that cast, I think this is going to be a real standout. It could be one of the best films of the year. Number 6 is Nope, the new film from Jordan Peele. We just talked about the third film from Robert Eggers. Now we're moving on to the third film from Jordan Peele, which of course is very anticipated, not just by me, but pretty much everybody. And this guy, he catches a lot of flack because a lot of people think he gets his ass kissed entirely too much. And I think his first two films were very overrated, which I guess I could understand. I know for a while Rotten Tomatoes had Get Out as the greatest horror film of all time, which, let's just get real here. Absolutely not. I love the film. It's a fun little thriller. It's got some nice comedy to it, but it's not very horrifying. And it's just not the best horror movie of all time. And it's ridiculous to even say that. And I know that's not how Rotten Tomatoes works, but the fact that that was on the top of their tomato meter all-time list for horror films for a long time is just laughable to me. Us, cool ideas within it, great cast, a few wonderful moments, but the more you thought about the premise, the more it really did unravel or come untethered, if you will. But that being said, he takes big swings at his concepts, and he comes up with original concepts at that. So I can't wait to see what he's going to go ahead and engineer next for us with this movie, Nope, that he's keeping very hush-hush. This movie's been very under wraps, but I'm intrigued. You look at that movie poster and you're like, what is going on here? Is that a weather balloon? Are we dealing with Area 51? Is this going to be about extraterrestrials? What is going on? And I love that simple title, Nope, because that's how a lot of people watch horror films, right? You watch something unfold and you see a character hear a noise coming from a dark room. And they start slowly heading towards the room. They peer in and then they see some sort of insane visual, and everybody else would just be like, nope, and hightail it out of there. I think that's kind of what they're getting at here, which in itself is kind of funny. And I can't wait to see what this movie is going to be. I'm down for a Jordan Peele extraterrestrial film. Number 5 is Evil Dead Rise. That is right, we are getting a new Evil Dead movie in 2022. I'm freaking pumped because it doesn't get much better than Evil Dead. I don't know if any horror franchise is more consistent when it comes to quality. Yes, the movies are very different. When you look at the first Evil Dead film, it's this very kind of grassroots, low budget indie film. And then Sam Raimi got more of a budget and he kind of remade the movie with Evil Dead 2, but added in all sorts of more visceral terror, all sorts of more goofy, campy gags, all sorts of new effects. To me, Evil Dead 2 is the penultimate cabin terror movie. It's also the best use of horror and camp. That movie, when I was a kid, at times I would be laughing, other times I would just be completely unnerved. And then you go ahead and look at Army of Darkness, which is just this daring, completely out there adventure fantasy movie that sees Bruce Campbell going back in time and fighting this army of skeletons and such. And then the remake, one of the best horror remakes of all time. And look at that Evil Dead remake from Fede Alvarez. That thing is just a splatter fest, just gore out the yin-yang, blood being thrown left and right. What am I talking about? It rains blood at one point. That's what I'm saying about this franchise, though. Always high quality, always a high-octane joyride with all sorts of insane visuals you don't get anywhere else. And now we're taking it out of the woods for really like the first time ever. And we're going to the city and we're going up in a high-rise. I can't even anticipate or can't begin to talk about what that might invite with this film. What do Deadites in a high-rise look like? What sort of horror sequences are going to unfold? I don't know, but I know I'm going to be there on opening night, and I can't wait to see this movie. Number 4 is The Black Phone. And when I first saw the trailer for this movie, I was like, yeah, I'm going to have to put this really high up on my most anticipated list because it looks like it's going to go there. It's got heavy subject material, it's dark, and it comes from Scott Derrickson, the man who crafted The Exorcism of Emily Rose and Sinister. A lot of people say Sinister is one of the most terrifying modern horror films, and a lot of people have said it's the most jump scare-packed horror movie of all time. They've actually done scientific studies that show that it is the most startling and intense, scary movie. If you go ahead and put electrodes and things with people's brains and such, I guess this gets the biggest response on the scales. And that's coming from Scott Derrickson and the way he knows how to helm and craft his horror films. But hey, he gets to go make Black Phone, which is based off of a book by Joe Hill, the son of Stephen King. I think I'm gonna go ahead and pick that book up, read that puppy, and if it's great, I may do my first ever book review here on the channel for The Black Phone. For those of you who don't know, this movie is about this sadistic killer who abducts young children. He hides them away into their basement where he keeps them hidden. We don't know what he does with these poor children. We don't know how long the stint they get in the basement before they end up murdered, but that's heavy in itself. And the killer's gonna be portrayed by Ethan Hawke, who's always fantastic, very underrated actor. But in this basement, there's a phone that has some sort of supernatural quality to it to where the newest victim is able to receive calls from past victims of this killer. And they're going to try to help him to escape his own death and help get him out of this predicament. Can't wait to see this movie. Can't wait to see what all is going to unfold because this, like I said, it seems dark. It seems heavy. It seems daring. It does not seem safe in the slightest, and horror needs that. Number 3 is Skull, which is the new Predator film. This will be the first Predator movie to come out since Disney acquired the rights to the franchise. That's a very concerning statement. I do not want them to sanitize this franchise and start playing it safe. With the Predator movies, you need lots of grisly, gnarly gore. You gotta have that Yucha creature, which is what the Predators are called, going in and ripping people's spines out, skinning them, holding up their bloody skulls, all of that. You need foul-mouthed protagonists with a little edge to them. Those are the elements you gotta have. You just can't play it safe. But I think there's a lot of reason to be hopeful. The fact that we're going back to like pre-settled America and focusing on the Comanches as they take on the Predator, I think those are worthy adversaries. And I can't wait to see all of this unfold. I really believe that when we look at our main protagonist, this fierce, proud Comanche woman who is a warrior, it sounds like, in all respects, I really think that she could be an adversary for the ages. And I think that she could eventually even rival Schwarzenegger. I don't think she will top Schwarzenegger's Dutch character, but I think she can become the second best good guy in the entire franchise. Number 2 is Halloween Ends. And if you've seen the channel before, you know Halloween is my favorite horror franchise. And you also know that I was pretty damn let down by Halloween Kills. Some of the setups in that movie, some of the contrivances, some of the decisions with the story, some of the forced themes, the bad dialogue, all that stuff. But that being said, keeping my fingers crossed and my mind open to the fact that Halloween Ends could still be a great film and that this could be a fitting resolution to this new trilogy. And we could have a really amazing conclusion here where we finally tie up all the loose ends and we put a freaking cap on the Laurie Strode, Michael Myers storyline. I don't even care if that involves Laurie dying, Michael dying, both of them dying. As long as it happens in amazing cinematic, climactic fashion, I am here for it. Hopefully the dialogue improves. Hopefully we get some really good scares. I can't wait to hear the new score from Carpenter when this movie comes out. I can't wait to see what we're going to do with environments. They say it's going to be more contained and intimate. That's what I want. That's how I like my Halloween films. I want to see Michael Myers stalking folks in the shadows of Haddonfield. I want to see some new cool slasher kills. And I really think we're going to get that. I want more from Allison. And I think we're going to get that. I want her to really step up and become one of the top 3 women in the Halloween franchise. You know, it is time for her to get up there and be with Laurie Strode, be with Rachel Crothers, and then maybe even overcome Jamie Lloyd as one of the best female characters in the entire franchise. Give her something to do, y'all. Let's make this last movie a fantastic movie. Let's go for broke and make this the second best Halloween movie of all time, or at least just a really goddamn solid film. And number 1, I'm sure you can figure out what it is. It is Scream, or Scream 5. I just can't wait to see what is going to happen with this movie. We haven't had a Scream in quite a while, and Scream is my favorite horror movie. Halloween's my favorite franchise, but Scream is my favorite movie. And I love that we're going to be getting meta. They tried to mess with us. They toyed with our emotions. They told us that we weren't going to be meta in this new film. And now that's been put to rest. That is not happening. And when I look at the stills for this movie and I look at the trailer and the clips we've been given so far, I think this is going to be visceral. I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be twisty. I think we're taking our legacy characters in new places, and I think someone may end up dying. I really do believe not everybody is safe in this one. I feel like this is going to be a respectful new addition that just continues the legacy of Wes Craven and what he did with this franchise, and I cannot wait to see it. I'm even beginning to think we may have 3 different Ghostface killers in this movie. I'm not sure about it. Just certain images lead me to believe that, and I'm here for it. I can't wait to see that. And we do have 3 of them. I kind of hope they do something new to where one of the killers, we don't find out their identity at the end of this film. That one of the killers maybe is about to expose a person and then they get killed, and this other killer, you know, gets away from the group. And so we just have like a whole year or 2 of anticipation and wondering and trying to follow breadcrumbs, figure out who this killer is. They really set up that mystery properly. Can't wait to see what the opening is going to be like. Can't wait to hear Roger L. Jackson's voice as Ghostface. He always just hooks me in and gives me a little chill down my spine. Cannot wait to see Scream. And it's my most anticipated movie of 2022. So go ahead and let me know what you think about my list. Let me know what movie you are most anticipating for next year. Other than that, hope you have a fantastic day. I'm Nate for natemareflix saying that's a wrap.